What's up, trainers? This is David from ConMenRDW here, and let's get energized for some Pokemon anime. Welcome to ENERGIZED, the web series where we talk about all things Pokemon, whether it's the anime, trading card game, video game, everything regarding Pokemon. We're going to be talking about it right here at ConMenRDW, so definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Pokemon content from us, because I plan on talking about a lot. And we're going to start out with the new Pokemon Horizons series that just dropped on Netflix. It's not an anime that has Ash in it. This is the first one after Ash won the World Championship against Leon that went viral against the whole world. Literally everyone knew about it. Ash finally became the very best that no one ever was, and I'm so happy for our boy. But now the torch has to get passed to a new main character, and we have her. We have them, actually. There's a whole cast of characters in Pokemon Horizons, the series. On this episode, we're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2, which is basically a two-parter of a pilot episode called The Pendant That Started It All. And we're going to just talk about the episode. I'm going to give you guys some notes and my thoughts on the episode, and then we're going to keep going episode by episode until we get to the end. And I'm also probably going to do like a full video talking about the series in general. So definitely comment down below if you're enjoying Pokemon Horizons, what you think about Liko as our new main character, or Roy as our other main character, and Sprigatito, and everything that's going on so far in the series. So definitely leave a comment. Let's talk Pokemon, and let's get energized. Let's get right into it. So starting off with this new series, Pokemon Horizons, it takes place in general in the world of Pokemon. It's not specifically in one region. It's not region locked. It's kind of like how Pokemon Journeys was, which I actually enjoyed. That's the one where Ash was journeying around with his partner companion Go, and they were hopping from region to region, and they weren't just landlocked in one specific part of the Pokemon world. Now we're actually all over the place now. It's not just in one spot. So Liko, who is our new main protagonist, she's a female lead character, which is a first for Pokemon anime in a while. We haven't had a lead, like, main character that focuses on Liko, rather than it being on, like, Roy, who is, like, the male support character for her, or the other characters that happen to be male characters. But Liko is the main character of the show, so shout out to Girl Power. We got a main femme lead character in Pokemon anime, so that's pretty cool to me. And we're also not sure if this takes place in the same timeline as when Ash won the Pokemon Championship. So we haven't had any mention of who's the champion in the world right now. We're not really talking about who's the champion in other regions that they're going to. We're not really focused on like gym leaders or battles right now, because Liko, against how Ash was when he first became a Pokemon trainer and went on his Pokemon journey, she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life right now. She's kind of like unsure. She's going to a Pokemon school that is in the Kanto region, which is the first Pokemon region that we ever got introduced to. But she's originally from the Paldea region, which is the current region for Scarlet and Violet. So she's actually moving to a different region to start off the show, which is pretty awesome. Which means that she's used to certain Pokemon in her region that wouldn't be in Kanto. So that's actually kind of cool to me. Like I said, she doesn't really know what she wants to do. She starts off, she kind of has like social anxiety. She wants to talk to some girls on like a bus that she's going to her school on about this web series called Nido Thing, and she gets kind of social, like she would love to talk to them about it, but she's like really self-reserved. She mentions how like before she even got into the school, she has to do like a web interview, and she like was kind of unsure about herself, but she ended up getting through it by the skin of her teeth. But she's still like has a lot of doubts. She's pretty much just going through life at this point. So she's really going to this Pokemon school hoping that she can find a purpose in life for herself, or find something that she really wants to do, you know? So she kind of has NPC syndrome right now. So that's kind of different opposed to when we started off with Ash and he was like, I want to be the very best. I want to be a Pokemon trainer. I'm taking the personal initiative to go to Professor Oak's lab, get my Pokemon, and then start my journey. Liko's more like, I'm going to Pokemon school because I need to figure out what I even want to do in the first place. But yeah, she gets to the school. She has a roommate. Her name is Anne, I believe, in the show. And she gets assigned a Pokemon. Every kid that goes to the school that starts out, you'll see as they're doing their walk through the campus, everyone has a Pokemon. Even like the landscapers and stuff, they have their own Pokemon helping out with work. So everyone has a connection to a Pokemon. So that's kind of well known up front. And Liko gets assigned to a Sprigatito as her Pokemon. So other than kind of how with Ash, he got Pikachu because That just so happened to be the only Pokemon that was left at the time, so he got Pikachu off chance. Liko also got Sprigatito off chance, but it was because that was also the Pokemon that just happened to be assigned to her. She didn't choose her Pokemon, you know? So, that's interesting. Just kind of how Ash and Pikachu, I'm going to keep doing Ash and Pikachu comparisons just because that's like, we just left them and now we're on Liko and Sprigatito. So I'm definitely going to keep comparing the two for a little bit here. So don't mind me with that, but I think it's a good point of comparison. She got assigned Sprigatito, and Sprigatito up front isn't really vibing with her. It's kind of hesitant to really be around her. It's kind of doing its own thing. It's not really listening. It's not really vibing with Liko up front. It's kind of running away from her. It's like pushing her away. And because of this, Liko is starting to get a little unsure of herself. She's wondering if she's even why she's at this Pokemon school in the first place. If her like first partner Pokemon can't even listen to her or follow anything she has to say. However, this isn't gonna deter Liko from becoming closer to Sprigatito. One, because it's adorable. And two, because she just also wants to kind of prove this to herself. So she starts to kind of like take notes on Sprigatito's behavior. Try to learn more about the Pokemon via her Rotom Dex / phone, which is kind of cool. And then she's just like trying to get to know Sprigatito a little bit more. They end up finding this lake area that ends up becoming their like personal little training ground. So they're like doing like night lessons and stuff and night training to try to like grow their bond a little bit more. And also in a way, you're kind of noticing that it seems like Sprigatito isn't just completely totally distant from Liko. It is also trying to also kind of grow with her. Because it kind of also tells that she's a good person, but it's still kind of like trying to like make her realize something in herself, which we'll go back to a little bit later in the episode. So later on in the episode, Liko goes into this box, and she has a pendant that kind of looks like a terrestrialized symbol, you know, like a terrestrialization symbol from Scarlet and Violet. And she says that it is a special pendant that her grandma gave her. We don't really know what it is. She doesn't really know what it is, but it is like one of those things where it's like, and she says that she isn't ready for it yet, and we don't really know what that means quite yet. But it is very important, obviously. Moving forward a little bit, at one point there's a shot where different adults are starting to like look around the campus for somebody. A very colorful cast of characters. They're all like looking for somebody specifically. We don't know who they're looking for, but if you've been looking at previews for the show, you know that they're kind of main characters here, but we don't really know what they're doing around the campus at this moment in time. And then for plot protection's sake, pretty much all of the school students are going back home. We don't know how long Liko's been at this school yet for. It seems like it's been a couple days now, but now everyone is going back home for break, I guess. Liko says that she's staying behind because her parents are too busy, so she's just gonna hang back, train, and hang out with Sprigatito, while everyone else goes back to their home regions and stuff like that. And then some dude shows up saying that he's looking for Liko. He has the appropriate paperwork. He says he knows her grandmother. And also he says that you also have to bring the pendant with you. We don't know who this dude is yet. Very mysterious, obviously kind of sus. Liko feels that he's sus too. But also, she takes the letter from him and she never reads the letter. She never reads the letter. He's like, yeah, I have this letter from grandma. She never reads the letter. I don't know if the letter comes back at any point, but we never see what the letter said at all. So because Liko was sussed out by this dude, she and Sprigatito basically take the pendant and dip out of the room's window and try to escape, because they're like, we don't like how this dude's vibe is, so we're gonna probably not be here and also not go with him to wherever he wants us to go. So the guy starts to give chase along with two other people that are in black suits along with him, and we still don't know who they are. And Sprigatito and Liko both have to fight off one of them because they have a Pokemon battle. They aren't good at, Liko and Sprigatito aren't good at battling yet. Liko's not a Pokemon trainer. She's not attuned to battling. So they use Leafage, but it was more like we're basically covering the eyes of the Pokemon that they were fighting. And then it looked like Sprigatito used Sleep Powder because the Pokemon went to sleep after Sprigatito kind of pounced on it and like knocked its face, like some powder came off. So it looked like it kind of used Sleep Powder. But Sleep Powder also isn't a move that it learns later on. So I don't know what that was, but I feel like that's going to come back up at some point. So they get on the roof of the school, because of course they get on the roof, and they get cornered. And then from the sky comes down a dude who is also clearly a main character. It's a guy that is riding a Charizard, and he has some dope-ass goggles. Cool outfit. And he's just like, I'm going to protect you. Stay back. And Liko's like, who the hell's this dude? I don't know who you are. And then he is like, I'm gonna protect you, stay back. And then the guy in the suit's like, all right, I guess we're doing this. I guess we're gonna battle. And then he tosses out a Ceruledge, which is one of the cooler Pokemon in like the most recent generation. And it's kind of clear at this point, with the battle that they have, the little encounter that they have, one, the budget's really good. So automatically, off point, first episode, we're getting a preview of how good the battles can look in this series. Because we've seen like the little encounter that Liko and Sprigatito had. That was like a little thing. But this looks a lot better. Ceruledge looks really well animated. Like, I think this is going to be a Pokemon that's kind of tuned to like Greninja or Lucario. Like, Ceruledge is a very popular Pokemon right now. And even like Pokemon Company themselves have also put out a whole Ceruledge thing where there was like a Ceruledge short, and then there was like Ceruledge was the Pokemon Day promo at GameStops and stuff like that. And just in general, people love how Ceruledge looks specifically. So I think that's going to be a very big thing for this generation of Pokemon, Ceruledge in general. So yeah, that's just this person's Pokemon of choice is Ceruledge. So while these two are battling, the Charizard and the Ceruledge are battling, Sprigatito and Liko get a little out of the way, and they are jumping. They're about to jump from one part of the school's roof to another. Sprigatito, this whole time while Liko has been learning about it, has basically been hiding in different parts of the school on like the roof and stuff like that, and also has been jumping off of roofs. There's been another time in the episode where Liko had to basically save Sprigatito's life, but they like bounced off a Charizard, and in order to get away from this battle, Sprigatito's like, we're gonna have to jump from this part of the roof to that part of the roof, and Liko's like, this is gonna be a big thing for me. I have to take my first step of adventure, is basically like her whole thing. Like, I need to take that. The biggest thing of an adventure, or the hardest part of an adventure, is the first step. That's like a big thing that I guess her grandma taught her when she was younger. The biggest part of an adventure, or the hardest part, is the first step. So them jumping off of this roof was her first step into this new adventure that she's getting into with Pokemon Horizons in general. So that was her and Sprigatito's big moment. A stray Psycho Cut move from Ceruledge gets knocked in their direction after it gets countered by Charizard, and it almost hits them point blank, but then, because Liko had on that pendant, a giant shield-like thing covers them, and it protects them. And that is the end of part one of the two-part episode of the pilot episode. So that's a really cool thing. So far, really cinematic, very cool. I like the slice of life vibes of it so far. And we're just going to move on to the next part of the episode right now. So now we open up the episode where we are inside of a shield that is made by the pendant. And inside of the shield, you can kind of see like the terrestrialized pattern. Like if you played Scarlet and Violet and you've seen terrestrialization, you see like that geometric crystal-y pattern going on there inside of the pendant shield that looks like that. And then basically the Pokemon Terapagos pops out of the pendant, like it forms into Terapagos. It looks at Sprigatito and Liko, and they're like, what the heck is this? And then it turns back into the pendant, and then the shield dissipates, and then they both are starting to fall to the ground. And then the dude and the Charizard pick them up and fly away, so the battle against that Ceruledge is over, and now they're actually escaping. So, cool, they got away. However, now the dude that was initially chasing Liko has his two partners, and they transform their outfits. They like do some type of cloaking thing or transform tech or something. Very futuristic, very cool. And now they have on these like team outfits. Like if you've played Pokemon for any amount of time, you recognize when a team shows up. So they have these new emblems. They're new to the Pokemon universe entirely. We've never seen these people. At least I haven't. I haven't done the DLC for Scarlet and Violet before. So I don't know if this team has shown up before, but they're original to the anime, which I think is really cool because we haven't had a team that is original to the anime of Pokemon versus them just segueing straight into something that's been in the game before. So I think that's pretty cool. Oh, and also we hear that the main dude's name is Amethio. So that's the main dude's name. We don't know the other two's name, but the main one who was initially looking for Liko, his name is Amethio. And then they decide to take flight after them. So then they get on Skarmories. The two helper characters get on Skarmories. And then Amethio has his Corviknight, which honestly, great mount Pokemon. Like Corviknight is one of my favorite birds or Pokemon in general. Easy top 5 from the Sword and Shield era, from the Galar region era. So Corviknight, great pick. He already has 2 awesome Pokemon. So on the way to the airship, we cut back to Liko and Sprigatito being basically cradled 20,000 feet up in the air by this Charizard and this dude, who Liko realizes they don't even know who this guy is. They don't know where they're going. And he never answers the question. He's just like, don't worry about it. We're going to our airship. And the airship that they're going to be in throughout a lot of this show, very cool design, first off. They have the wings of the airship unfurl and it can become a stadium, which can be used for battling that also has a barrier. So it's basically a sky arena. And I think that's dope. Like, that is a really cool design for like a hub area of like operations. Considering that it's a world of Pokemon, they have an area where they can train high in the sky. That's so cool. I love that so much. Okay, now once they touch down on the ship, they learn that the dude that's been basically being their bodyguard so far with the Charizard, his name is Freed. And also 2 other people show up when they land, as well as a handful of Pokemon. Fuecoco, which will come up into play later. And then also a couple other people that show up too. This pink-haired chick named Molly. This big buff black dude named Murdoch, and he has a partner Pokemon that is called Rockruff. He has a Rockruff, basically. That's really cool. And then also they find out that on this ship, there's also a whole bunch of other wild Pokemon that technically don't belong to anyone, but they all hang out because they are good people. Like, Pokemon all have internal vibe checks, and this team of people that work this airship clearly passed the vibe check because they're all hanging out here. They don't feel threatened, and also they're helping out on the ship too, which is really cool. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, which just so happens to be something that Freed says a lot. Like, we'll talk about this later. Like I said, Liko doesn't even know what the heck's going on. As the viewer at this point, we don't know what's going on. That just kind of goes to show Freed's character in terms of how impulsive he is, or how much like he's just like, we're just gonna wing it and we'll go from there. It's not like an annoying character trait, but if I was Liko, I'd be like, bro, nah, you gotta tell me why am I on this ship? Who were those people that were chasing me? Who are y'all, first off? But he's just like, don't worry about it. We'll figure this out later. So we find out that the group of people that are chasing them are called the Explorers. Not a very menacing name. However, we have seen that they can be menacing. But they're called the Explorers. We don't know what they explore. We don't know if they're a team per se, but they are called the Explorers. And also, like I said, a lot of Pokemon have jobs on the ship. So there's a Noctowl that is kind of like airspace security. So it just can, because it has very good vision, so it can just keep an eye out for miles in the sky. There's a Slugma and a Carkol in the engine room helping out another one of the members of the ship named Orla, basically power the ship. Also, Charizard goes down there at one point to also help them power the ship as well. And then they have Captain Pikachu, who is the basically chief navigator slash the actual captain of the ship. I don't know who gave a Pikachu the order as captain, but Captain Pikachu goes kind of hard. Like, Captain Pikachu is literally that dude up front. It's a Pikachu that is always arms crossed, looks like a shonen protagonist, and then is also, when you first see him, he's sitting in the captain's chair, balancing on its tail because it can't see over the window because it's standing up, so it has to get some extra footage by standing on it and balancing on its tail. So you know its tail is strong as hell, and that's just awesome. I love that so much. So in order to get away from the Explorers that are currently chasing them, Freed has the grand plan with Captain Pikachu to start steering the ship into a storm cloud so that they can get rid of them, because they're clearly on Pokemon. We're in a whole airship. We'll survive more than they would. So we're going to go into this air storm. So they start picking up speed. They start heading that direction. The winds start picking up. Things start getting a little rocky. Foreshadowing here, we see a Quaxley go into a bedroom through a doggy door inside of the halls of the airship. The only other time we've ever seen a Quaxley at the point of this show was during, remember Nido Thing? That thing I talked about earlier, was during the Nido Thing show. So, based on basic predictions and storytelling, you can tell that that might be a little related to that. But also Murdoch, the dude that I was talking about earlier, he talks to an old man who happens to also be a part of the ship's crew, and he says, keep a watch out for you-know-who. And I don't know why he said it like that, because it's like, if they both know who you know who is, why would he say that? It's like, not like he had to keep it a secret. Liko wasn't even around to even hear him talk to him. So like, why is he saying watch out, and also watch out for you know who? And he says we have children aboard. So foreshadowing ahead of time. But if you can do basic story, like forensics and storytelling, you kind of can figure out what is going on here. So we're inside of this rainstorm. The explorers actually get onto the ship, so things start getting a little rocky here, and Liko starts to panic. She starts to fold. She's doing the whole thing where everyone's fighting because of me. I don't even know what's going on. I don't have enough belief in myself. I can't protect people. She's in the room with the Pokemon that have to be safe, so she's being protected while also she can't do anything if the Pokemon need to be helped. She's just like, these Pokemon aren't after just the pendant, they're after me. And then she has this really funny line, which is very self-aware, very fourth wall breaking. She goes, wait a minute, am I the main character in this story? Is this about me right now? Am I the main character? So that was really funny. I like that bit right there. And then also one other foreshadowing shot that happens later is because they're in the storm, the flag gets blown off of the ship, and that also obviously has the logo of the team on it. So that's going to come into play a little bit later. So the explorers get onto the ship, they break through the barrier, they get into the area where the Pokemon and Liko are being held. The dude's like, you should have just came with me. This could have been over a while ago. Liko's like, I know I shouldn't trust you. However, don't hurt the Pokemon, don't hurt anyone. We'll come with you. So she has Sprigatito with her. They're walking with them out of the ship. And then Freed and Captain Pikachu are like, you guys aren't going anywhere. We're gonna battle you. If we win, you leave the girl alone. If you win, you can take her, whatever. And then they start having a battle. This is when we get to see how Captain Pikachu stands on business. Because the Captain Pikachu took the hat off. That's how you know it's real. When Captain Pikachu takes his hat off. And he starts going crazy. He starts using Double Team, which is like some crazy, like we've already seen Double Team before, but he does it so seamlessly. He's just standing there, just looking so stoic. He knows Thunder Punch. He also knows Volt Tackle, but the Volt Tackle that he does in this instance, since they're inside of the thunderstorm at this moment in time, gets buffed because he gets struck by lightning. So that looks dope. So he Volt Tackles the Ceruledge and basically almost breaks the barrier on the ship. And at this point, Liko, again, she is folding. She's so scared at this point. She's like, I don't want any of this to continue. I don't want people to keep fighting for me. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want the ship to go down. I'll come with you. Stop fighting. I even think Sprigatito wants to come with you too. And then Sprigatito gets out of her arms and he's like, don't speak for me. Don't speak for me. I'm not going with them. You shouldn't go with them either. He doesn't say that, obviously. But he's like giving them the vibes of, I'm not going with them. You shouldn't go with them. You know that this isn't right. And then at this moment, this is also when Liko is like, oh, you right, partner. You're right, partner. So then Liko and Sprigatito do a very buffed by the power of Pokemon friendship leafage move. And like earlier we saw that they could do leafage, but it was like the little 2 leaves and stuff. But this one is super strong. So it ends up basically blowing like a whole leaf storm into the space of the barrier, and it breaks the barrier that's covering the stadium. And then because they're in the rainstorm, wind starts blowing, people start getting blown around. Liko braces herself, Freed and Charizard save Liko, but Sprigatito gets blown off of the stadium, but gets caught by Amethio's Corviknight, and then they actually get away with Sprigatito. So that's the last part of this pilot episode, is them getting away with Sprigatito, which is a very wild thing to happen. Is our new protagonist loses her partner Pokemon on episode 1/2. So that's crazy, but it was a very cool pilot, and I'm enjoying it so far. What do y'all think? Did you enjoy the pilot episode of Pokemon Horizons? I hope you guys are energized like I am about this new series of Pokemon. And I definitely will keep talking about it here because I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. So if you guys like this video, if you like this episode, if you like this series, if you like Liko, comment down below, like the video, and subscribe for more Pokemon content from the Energized series and from ConMenRDW. My name is David, and I'll see you later, trainers. I'll catch you later, trainers. That's a good one. I'll catch you later, trainers. Bye.